Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be comparing a Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited to a Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry H. Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Provo for providing us with both of the Grand Cherokees. Check out the inventory in the link below. Let's just get straight into the video. Now let's go into the hoods of both of the Grand Cherokees. So starting over here with the Overland, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 18 around town and 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 293 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Going over to the Limited, we have the exact same setup, same engine, same transmission, same fuel economy, same power outputs. So from an under the hood perspective, both of these Grand Cherokees are identical. Now let's go over the front end of both of the Grand Cherokees. Starting over here with the Overland, again, you've got that signature Jeep hood, and then you've got the venting there on the front, which again is just another signature for Jeep. You've got these full LED lights with fog lights down below, and then you've got your chrome tow hooks. But notice how like bright the whole front end looks like on the Overland, especially the chrome. It's just really bright. Whereas if we go over to the Limited, we have the same setup with the headlights, with the fog lights, no tow hooks though, sadly. But notice how they have gone with everything being blacked out inside the venting. Whereas again, on the Overland, it's full chrome. So the front end of the Limited looks a little bit darker, whereas the front end on the Overland looks a little bit brighter because of all the chrome. Now let's go over the tire and wheel setup. So first off with the Overland, 20-inch wheels, 265mm tires. Over on the Limited, 18-inch wheels, 265mm tires, so the width is the same, but the Overland has a little bit larger wheels. As for the design of the Limited wheels, they look pretty good, but the Overland wheels look a whole lot better. I think the design's just a whole lot more beautiful. And then from a suspension standpoint, standard suspension, whereas with the Overland, you actually have air suspension, and then notice how this is actually painted, and then over on the Limited, how it's just the black plastic molding, so another difference with that. Got the Grand Cherokee badge right here. Grand Cherokee badge, that's all the same. Chrome on the mirror, that's all the same. Door handles and everything. So all the other stuff on the side, pretty much the same. Now let's go into the backs of both of the Grand Cherokees. So starting with the Overland, you can see that the storage space back in here is really good. You actually get a cargo cover with the Overland, and then we've got the spare tire just underneath. There's a little 12-volt here, and then look at one of the speakers for the sound system, and then notice the trim right here with the Overland. And then coming over to the Limited, notice that the trim here, just black plastic. Still get a spare tire underneath. No speaker for the sound system, but you get a 12-volt here in the back, and then also no cargo cover. Let's go over the rest of the rear of both of the Jeeps. Now, starting with the Overland, you've got Jeep's signature LED lights back here. You've got your Overland badge, and then you got the dual outlet exhaust with the receiver hitch down at the bottom. If you're wanting towing capacity is about 6,200 pounds. Going over to the Limited, the lights are the same. Obviously, you have the Limited badges instead of the Overland badges. Parking sensors along the back, no receiver hitch, and then you just have a singular exhaust tip, so a little bit different with the rear of the Jeeps. Now here's the door panel on the back of the Overland. So notice the really dark wood trim here, and then you've got all this soft touch here on the side. And then here's a quick look at the seats. You guys can see the difference between the seats on both of them. So again, really soft touch with the seats. You've got the nice perforations there in the leather, just really nice in general. Coming down to this little area, you've got a couple of vents. You can see you've got some USBs, full power outlet, and then you've got the heated seats right there. And then pulling these down, a couple of cup holders. Obviously the legroom, headroom, all that's going to be the same between both of them. Now coming over to the Grand Cherokee, this soft touch here is pretty similar. It doesn't feel as nice as what's in the Overland, and then you've got the wood trim that looks a little bit different. Coming to the seats, again, the seats don't have the nice perforations there in the center, but they're still soft. They're just not as soft as what the Overland has. And then coming over to this little area, still get the vents, still get the USBs, but no heated seats. And then yes, it still has these same little cup holder things, so that is unchanged. Now here's the front door panel with the Overland. Again, you've got that really nice dark wood trim. You've got all the soft touch here on the side of the door. Window controls, the mirrors are power folding. And then you do have the Harman Kardon sound system, memory seats as well. And then here are the seats at the front. Again, really nice with the leather. You've got the little Overland stitching right there. And then the soft touch perforations in the center, just really soft in general. There's your adjustments on the side of the seat. And then you can see the pedal layout right there. And then we've got a little latch for the hood, the gas release, light controls as well. And there's one more look before we just go pop into the Overland. Now let's just quickly go over things with the Overland. So you've got the nice wood trim there at the top, then you've got the soft touch all around the rest of the steering wheel. We've got the cruise control on this side, and then you've got the controls to the center stack and voice command controls down below. Radio controls in the back of the steering wheel. And by the way, the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring on them. And then the last thing with the steering wheel is the little windshield wiper stalk. Coming here into the center screen, you can see you've got the analog gauges on either side, and then you've got that digital screen in the center that'll give you different bits of information on the vehicle. Pretty standard setup. There's nothing too crazy going on with the center screen. And then you notice that there's nice soft touch all along the dash. As for the infotainment system, here's the backup camera. You can see you've got trajectory lines, resolution on it's really solid. With the rest of the infotainment system, response time's good. You get heated and ventilated seats here with the Overland and a heated steering wheel. And then it also comes with navigation. Now the other thing that I got into in my Overland review that I'm not going to go over with this review is you do have the off-road pages. Go watch my Overland review if you want to see what those are all about. And then just down below, we've got our analog controls for the radio, analog climate controls. And then in this little area, we've got our stability control. For the drive mode select, you've got the eco off, which would put you in normal mode. And then you have the sport mode, which will actually pop up here into this little center stack when you pop that on. And then your auto stop start, and then your parking sensors. And then popping this little thing up, you just have to press the little button. Got a couple of USBs and a 12 volt inside of it. And then here is the shifter for the 8-speed automatic. You do have the manual shift function if you want to shift the gears yourself. Couple of cup holders right in this little area. And then this is our terrain select. So on either side of it, we've got our 4-wheel drive low, and then we've got our hill descent control. We've got our air suspension on the other side to raise and lower it. And then you can see you've got your drive modes, your sand, your snow, and then your mud and your rock. If you're wondering what those look like when you pop into the modes, you can see it gives you a little graphic here for all of the different drive modes when you go into each of them. But other than that, popping over to this little portion, we've got the center console, which has 2 layers. Pretty straightforward. You got a 12 volt inside of it. More of that dark wood trim. Pretty standard glove box. And then finishing things up with the top, notice that we've got our universal garage door opener controls right here, and then you have the controls to sunroof, full panoramic sunroof here in the Overland. And then yes, we do have a sunglass holder as well, and this is everything for the top of the Overland. Now here's the door panel in the Limited. Again, you've got that same wood trim you have in the back of the Limited. You've got all the soft touch here. You've got all of your window controls, mirror controls, no power folding mirrors, and then you still do get blind spot monitoring in the mirror. And then coming over to the seats, again, same as the seats in the rear, so not as nice as the Overland, but they're still nice seats nonetheless. And then you can see you've got the adjustments on the side of the seat. Pedal layout there at the bottom, and then notice that all of these controls, everything is all the same as what's in the Overland. By the way, the Overland steering wheel was automatically adjustable. This one is manually adjustable. So I don't want to bore you guys with going over a bunch of stuff that's exactly the same with both the Jeeps, so I'm going to focus on the stuff that is different. And then I'll mention the things that are all the same. So you guys can see you have no wood trim here at the top of the steering wheel like in the Overland. It's just all smooth leather. All of the controls in the steering wheel are completely identical, so I'm not going to go over those again. All of the things in the gauge cluster are the same. Obviously this doesn't show you the ride height difference because this one doesn't have air suspension. But coming over to the screen itself, this is all the same, but this one happens to have the trajectory lines turned off. This one still can have it turned on. But this just shows you a backup camera with those lines turned off if you guys wanted to see what that looks like. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, completely identical, but just so you guys know, you do not get air conditioned seats. You only get heated seats and a heated steering wheel. All the controls down here are all the same. Drive mode select, all of that is the same. And then again, same situation with the shifter, same with the little area inside of here, cup holders, all that, just material use looks slightly different. And then you can see here, you still get the forward low, hill descent control, still get the terrain select, just again, no adjustments to the air suspension because it doesn't have it. Same exact setup here on the center console as well. Different wood trim, no stitching here on the dash. And then coming into the glove box, that's identical. And then the last thing that's different here is up top. So you guys will notice that you just get a regular sunroof, no panoramic sunroof like what the Overland has. Still get the universal garage door openers up top, still get the little sunglass holder, and that's everything for the Limited. Now that we're done going over both of the Jeeps, let's quickly get into pricing. So the Overland stickers for about $52,000, and then the Limited stickers for about $44,000. So there's about an $8,000 price difference between both of the Grand Cherokees. Now, just like with all of our videos, we do have to pick a winner for today's video. So first off, from an exterior styling perspective, I don't really have a preference of one over the other. I do like the wheels on the Overland more than the wheels on the Limited, but as for the rest of the Grand Cherokee, they both look good to me. From an interior perspective, yes, the Overland has a better interior. It has more features as well. So obviously the Overland wins from an interior perspective. Performance is exactly the same on both of them. This one has a tow package, that one doesn't. So another little win for the Overland. And so if I were to pick a winner for today's video, I'm actually going to pick the Overland. I know the Overland's more expensive. I know $8,000 is a lot of money, but I think it's well spent for the extra luxury features that you get and the fact that this particular Overland already has the tow package as well, and then just the nicer wheels, especially if you're already spending like $44,000 is a lot of money. And if you're going to spend that much money, you might as well get nice wheels. You might as well get all the nicer stuff. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below, would you rather buy the Limited or the Overland? That is going to sum things up for today's video comparing the Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited to the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram here in Provo for providing us with both of the Jeeps. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.